Still no sound. Not happy, buddy. StreamYard, I will be talking to you very, very shortly, and we'll be having a very stern walk. Talk. See, look, everyone can hear me, because I can hear myself, but bloody hell, anyway. Good evening, and welcome to the Mancunian Way, where I will be joined by other people very shortly, but Patrick from the early birds, the man, the myth, the legend in his own mind, he's back with us.
G'day, everyone. Hope we're all doing well out there. And for anybody listening or watching from land down under, wishing you all a very happy Australia Day.
Stop the press. Show everyone the shirt. Come on.
Oh, yeah, let me just move the microphone out of the way. What do you think?
Look at that. A proud Australian on Australia Day.
Figured it might as well, mate. I think pound for pound, we probably had a better World Cup than you lot.
You see what happens when they win a game? See what happens? They're bigging it up now. You didn't play us, so it's all right.
We could have. If things had just gone, maybe one or two goals was probably the difference between us actually playing you. And I'll tell you what, regardless of the result, that just would have been a fantastic day out. Doesn't matter where you were in the world. Anytime Australia and England are playing each other in sport, it's just fantastic day out.
Also, anyway, good evening to everyone. I do look a little dishevelled. I'm on my second of 3 streams today. Just been over at Beta Games TV. Now I'm doing ours. And then later on, I'm going to let Pat just plug this. Off you go, Pat. Plug it, mate.
What am I plugging?
I give him the opportunity and he throws it out.
Oh, yeah. Look,
the ball, he don't want to bat it out the park.
Yeah, look, Martin's going to join us over on Greener Pastures on Zoom after this show, as we will be recording our next episode of the Early Bird podcast. Obviously, reviewing the Spurs and Wolves game and then previewing the upcoming cup match against Arsenal. We'll probably be in there chatting a little bit of shit about transfers, probably
wingers, midfielders,
continuing this conversation that's been going for the best part of about 48 hours about what we think our ambitions for the team, even though we don't have any influence on them whatsoever.
I think, is Rich going to be playing FIFA still?
Yeah, of course he will.
Is Rich still playing FIFA?
Of course he will.
I can't wait to hear about that.
I'm still in the metaverse, mate. Don't worry.
Hey, by the way, I do apologise. If anyone thought Pat wasn't allowed to speak on the last stream, I don't know. I wasn't here for the first hour of it, so I don't know. I do apologise. Pat is going to speak a lot this evening, don't you worry. So, there were some comments about you weren't allowed to speak or something. I don't know.
That was all right. I actually had a little zen period there, and I was quite enjoying myself.
Anyway, Manchester City versus Arsenal. We are sort of delayed a bit because I'm waiting for Veta and Rich and maybe one or two others to appear to come and chat. We are only going to do 1 hour tonight because we've decided we want to try. We're going too long on previews. We don't expect. It is an absolute pleasure that people joining us live are here for 2 hours. And I know you love it, but we can't have every show 2 hours because it'll kill us in the algorithm in terms of nobody's going to go back and watch a 2 hour stream back who have missed us live. It is brilliant if you do. Big thank you. But plus, we think the preview should only probably be about an hour. And we drop down and we do a bit longer on post-match, maybe. 2 hour streams have not gone. Still going to be there. There'll probably be more 2 hours than the 1 hours, but it'll only be an hour tonight. We are talking everything Manchester City versus Arsenal. My favourite cup competition is back. I love the FA Cup, the oldest cup competition in the world of football. Is it 156 years old this year, 157 years old, something like that? It is mad. Nearly as old as Rich. This cup competition is. It is amazing. Pat, we'll kick it off with you, mate, as soon as you're the only one here at the minute. Can you think of a 4th round tie any juicier than this? Was this just written in the stars? First versus second, FA Cup 4th round. Here we go. And we've not played them yet this season, which is actually remarkable to think. We're in January, nearly February, and we're about to play someone who we've not actually touched all season.
Yeah, this is, again, another reason why this season is unlike any other season we've experienced before. I think hopefully the match can live up to the hype, given the fact that we are still yet to play them twice in league competition. But yeah, look, I'm agreeing with you, Martin. I do love this competition. I talk a lot about how much I, want the Carabao Cup, but that's only that part of the reason of that is just because nobody else loves it. Well, nobody else, whether they're in red shirts or black and white shirts or anything, or maybe black and white shirts like it more than us at the moment. But yeah, look, the FA Cup is where it's at. It still holds a place in my heart because I remember watching FA Cup matches as a kid, and regardless of the time zones, it's still it was something that you wanted to perform well in, even if the club back in the days where the club wasn't necessarily at its best in league performances. But yeah, that's probably the reason why I love this competition so much, and we love it. We love the upsets that it can cause as well. But yeah, look, I'm excited for this game, and yeah, 1 versus 2 in a cup match. A Friday night game is a bit unusual. I mean, Saturday morning for us is unusual as well too, but we're certainly looking forward to it. I know we've got a few of our guys up, raring to go to have a great day out for it. And yeah, bring it on. I can't wait, mate. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I didn't manage to get an Arsenal fan on tonight. That's for the league game, though. We'll get one on. Good evening, Hasta la Vista. Hope you are well. Stephen Bennett is in the house. Hello, mate. Hope you are good. Michael Phoenix is great to see Patrick back on tonight. Give the Early Bird podcast on SoundCloud and other platforms. Exactly. Absolutely amazing podcast. Neil Hanstad, although it would be nice because I have bigger fish to fry. I love the FA Cup, though, Neil. I don't think we've won it enough. That's my issue with this FA Cup. No. We've not won it enough.
2 FA Cups in 12 years. It's not a good hit rate, given our success in other competitions.
Exactly. Jack says the no mugs. No, of course the no mugs. The top of the league for a reason, mate. Spot on. Hello, Alec Johnson. How are you, mate? Vader is just currently doing a stream as well. Hello, Christian. Happy Australian Day to you as well, mate. Hope you're having fun over in the land of Oz. Good morning to you. Danny's with us. Can I just say, Danny's going to kill me for this because I'm about to speak to him in an hour. What's with that? That picture was taken about 20 years ago, wasn't it? Can you see the comments?
Yeah,
that's a 20-year-old photo.
Man, you know a filter when you see one.
That's a 20-year. That was from 20 years ago. That. Hello, Super City. By the way, I do apologize. I am going to get back to StreamYard. I don't know what is going on with the intro video. I have heard it's happening on other YouTube channels as well. So yeah, not good at the moment. When I was single and ready to mingle. So 20 years ago. Andrew Turner's Happy Comedy.
Mrs. must still be asleep.
I don't know that one. Have I missed that one?
Oh, here we go. There's always one. Yeah, we came. They came in planes. We came in chains. Yeah, that's sort of the motto, isn't it?
Oh, he's here. Still not sorted his camera out. He's talking to somebody. I don't know who. See, what you all don't realise is we can see Rich off camera at the minute. He's now figuring something out. I don't know what he's figuring out. I'm just giving you a watch along of Rich at the minute.
He's got his own algorithm.
Do you know what? I'm really looking forward to this game on Friday night. I really am, for a couple of reasons. One, I think it's going to give us an idea for the rest of the season. And I'm intrigued about the teams, which I know we'll get onto in a bit. I really am intrigued about the teams that are literally that will walk out on Friday night. I'm intrigued about the lineups. I'm intrigued at the way Arteta will go, the way Pep will go. Will it be strong? Will it not be strong? Do you think it'll have any impact on the game on the lineups because it is Arsenal?
I don't want it to. I figured, I hope both teams go full strength because, it is a competition. There is going to be a bit of hype around it. I can understand why they may not go full strength for two reasons. One, I wouldn't be surprised if both teams, there is an element of putting most of your eggs in the Premier League basket. But also, too, I was under the impression that Arsenal, had nearly a week break before their next match like we do. But they're actually playing Aston Villa in about 2 or 3 days' time after they play us. So I don't know to what extent they are going to factor that in. But it'll be interesting to see. But I really do hope both teams go full strength. But I just get this feeling that if they don't, then you are going to see an element of both teams not necessarily wanting to give too much away, given there is going to be those two league fixtures coming up over the coming months. And to be honest with you, given the way that those league fixtures have been reallocated, you do get this sense of like there is like a two-legged cup knockout competition style happening between City and Arsenal, though it's just being played in league format. So it changes things a bit. But I would like to see us go all out, even though I'm a bit sort of on the fence. I kind of understand if they do. I understand if they don't.
Good evening, Richard. How are you?
Very good. Very good.
Still playing FIFA?
Sorry?
Still playing FIFA?
Me?
Yeah.
I played about one game in my life. Ran into the net 5 times.
He doesn't get it. I'm talking about your Saka from Arsenal.
Your FIFA on WhatsApp.
No, that's
bringing 3 world-class wingers.
That is the brutal, way that Bayern Munich do football, and it's time if we want to, keep on the Premier League.
Time to monopolise.
We start doing what Juventus do, Bayern do, and
lose 15 points.
Well, not that part of Juventus, but buy up some players. There's a reason he hasn't signed yet. He wants more money, but I must admit, I think, given Arsenal's history of paying 350 grand to Aubameyang, I think Arsenal will happily pay him whatever he needs. So it won't happen, but you got to try. You got to unsettle.
He's trying everyone. I can't wait to hear these 2 world-class wingers we're grabbing on when we do this pod in a bit. Can't wait.
Yeah. Well, as I said, Martin, you've become obsessed with this idea of wingers. They're wide attacking players. They're wide attacking players, and as soon as they're fast, it doesn't change them from being a wide attacking player to being a winger anymore.
You've just forgotten we've got about 500 midfielders within the club at the minute.
I've said I think we should have 4 attacking midfielders for 2 positions, 4 wide attackers for 2 positions,
and then you end up with João Cancelo.
No, João Cancelo is one of our 2 fullbacks where we don't have enough.
Who's throwing his toys out the pram?
And and does it? But that's the point. He's not going near the team.
He's a false 3.
FIFA's gone 6-0 Friday night.
He should
throw 6-0 every game. FIFA says new trim, Rich.
Well, I guess it's the old hair. It's just shorter.
Right, Rich. I'm just speaking with Pat there.
Yeah.
Do you think this game on Friday night plays any impact because of where they both are in the league? Do you think this plays any sort of impact, A, for the league, and B, in terms of lineup? Say we were facing Leeds or Villa or someone like that. Do you think he still plays the same 11, or is it because it's Arsenal now, I'm going to completely change my thinking here and roll out the full team?
I think given that we have had, almost a week off because we didn't have the midweek game this week, I think we'll have a much stronger team than we would have done. I think there'll be 2 managers playing slightly 2 different things. I think Pep will go all out. I think Pep will think that winning does have an impact on the league, and I think he'll want to put some doubts into Arsenal's head. on the flip side, I think Arteta is going to play nowhere near as strong a side as he could, because I think in his mind games he's going to want to hold back. He's going to want to focus entirely on the Premier League and will play a weaker side. So I think we're going to see a near first choice 11 from City. And let's be honest, at the moment, there's probably 5 or 6 doubts even in the first choice 11. So a first choice 11 a year ago, we'd almost 10 or 11 of the players would be decided now. I think a first choice 11 from City for Arsenal, there's so many doubts. You know, there's any number of the centre-backs could be playing. I don't think, you know, is Lewis and Ake first choice fullbacks now, or could you still consider Walker, Cancelo that? You know, is Bernardo first choice? So is Foden first choice? So I think there's so many unknowns that, you know, we will play what Pep sees as his strongest 11, but many of the fans might not agree. I think Arteta will go a bit weaker. I think he will want to try and keep the powder dry. But I think City have got to go for the win, because the one thing, you know, I've always felt that when you play a much weakened team, it shouldn't have any effect on the players who don't play in their morale and anything. But when we fielded a weaker team in a semi-final of an FA Cup or late in the season, and we've gone, but the form of a weaker team not playing well sometimes seems to have dripped through to the rest of the team. So I think we've got to go for the win. I think we've got to try and get a convincing win, and we've got to try and put some doubt into their mind. But I think Arteta might go weak, so it might be a bit of a damp squib. And then what happens if we could Arsenal beat City? That would be a bit scary.
Have I missed something? Has Callum Doyle signed a new contract?
Possible. He's been playing He's been playing very well.
Yeah, he has.
Playing every week. So
he's still learned out at Sunderland, isn't he?
Yeah. He's 19. Yeah. I didn't even know about that. Yeah, he has signed a new contract. Really intriguing.
Yeah.
On that one. Yeah. Right. Okay then. That's something I didn't know. Thank you for that.
Isn't he at Coventry now? They're not. I thought he was at Cov.
Yeah.
I thought he was at Coventry.
Sunderland was last season, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I reckon there might be you know, the 2 lads at Sheffield United going well as well. Like McAtee's got a very long contract. I wonder if we've tied everyone else down.
Maybe that's what they are.
The
youngster today.
Yeah, just confirmed on the MEN. Yeah, Callum Doyle signed a long-term contract.
Maybe it's to get, like, you know, maybe we're going to sell him, get a fee. I don't know. Maybe. See, for me, I'm really looking forward to Friday night. I really am, because it is Arsenal. I'm intrigued to see how we perform, how they play. Are they going to change anything? Are we going to change anything? The only thing that worries me playing the 11. I need to bring Vader in, by the way. I just realised he's here. Good evening, Vader. How are you, mate?
I'm good, guys. Patrick, Rich, Martin, always thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, good evening. If you have not subscribed to this legend, go and give him a subscribe. There's some fantastic content. Was just on there about 20 minutes ago.
Thanks for your input, man. It's great to have your Great to have your say.
I said this in Beta's show about 20 minutes ago. My only thing with the strong 11, we'll start with you with on Pat, is does playing a Haaland, a KDB, or whoever we play, does that extra challenge go a bit stronger? Does it go a little bit harder? Do you leave a little bit on? Because you are in the middle of a title fight, and I think it's going to become clear it is going to be us versus Arsenal. Newcastle have seemed to be getting too many draws to come into it. United just seem to be way off topic. I'm just not sure. Maybe it's me.
Yeah, this game, was having thoughts about it yesterday, in regards to the strength of lineup who would play, knowing full well the fact that we have to play them so frequently twice in league matches. I did feel like I was contradicting myself, and overthinking as I usually do, being the host of a podcast that just waffles all the time. Look, I want to see this. I want to see full strength. I do want us to continue to play well in cup competitions. The lineup that we had against Southampton kind of scared me a little bit if we do the same thing again. But look, I'm kind of torn between how strong we're going to go in this, but I do feel the same way.
Why would we rest? Our players aren't up. Many of them aren't up to full pace yet from the World Cup. They even need games. We've got 9 days after this game, haven't we? We've got 9 days. I don't think there's a game next week.
Yeah, Spurs away, I think, and that's a Sunday.
That's Sunday
over there.
Sunday.
Yeah,
so
that's going to hurt.
So that's 2 weeks between games for a player who doesn't play. So I actually think health, fitness, getting the team to the right place-wise, we're going to want to play most of our big players. Every interview we hear is how Haaland needs games to get his full fitness back up, his foot injuries going, he's just getting up to pace. Mahrez has hit form, Grealish has hit form. A few of the midfielders, need a bit, are either in form or probably need game time. So to me, I look at it and I think why it would actually be almost harmful for us to rest players. If we want Haaland in form for Spurs and for Arsenal in the league, he needs a game. So I think, it would be more of a risk in some ways leaving players out than playing them, because we were expecting to have a midweek game either side of this game in the cup, and we haven't. So now we've got this real open 2 weeks with one game, and we need to use it. So, I think it'd be more risk resting players, but I do think maybe with the intensity of the United game and that United game coming a few days after our game, and, possibly slightly more concerns about depth, that Arteta may look at it differently.
Rich, I think I mentioned it before you came on, but do you think the question now becomes how strong is Arsenal going to play? What kind of lineup they're going to play? Because while we have, the best part of 7 or 8 days between matches, they play Villa, I think, less than 72 hours. Villa away 72 hours after they play us. So again, coming back to, will they have all their eggs in the Premier League basket? We'll have to wait and see. Again, as you said, 8 days, and yeah, sure, I'm more than happy to go full strength. Do you think, and we've seen this before in cup matches where we play top 6 clubs, given the fact that some of them have 2 or 3 days before the next match, there is almost like an element. Sorry, Rich. There is almost like an element of almost like a gentleman's agreement sometimes between managers, where sometimes they will agree to play slightly weaker strength in certain positions and things like that. We've seen it before. There is a chance you may see it again. Although, again, I allude to what you said, and I agree with you. If we're going to have an 8-day break, which is kind of a little bit of a blessing in disguise, then let's go full strength.
Yeah, Arsenal's Villa game is straight after their league game against us, not after the cup game. They're playing on February the 18th against Villa after we played them on the 15th. Now I think Arsenal probably slightly more fatigued, slightly different situations. So I think they'll play a weaker side, and I think we'll play a full strength side. And then the problem will really be is if their weaker side beats our full strength side, we'll be mentally shot. But if our strength side beats them, which I think is what will happen, then, they'll be saying, oh, that doesn't count for anything. We rested Party or we rested Odegaard or whatever. But I think we'll take a bit of positivity from that. And I do think a defeat in whatever cup it is puts doubt. Remember when Arsenal first, when they had their unbeaten run and their invincible season, when they did lose early the next season, I think they lost 3 on the trot inside about a week. So once you turn the mentality a bit, you show doubt, you change things up, you do cause an issue, and I think Arteta might make a mistake.
Yeah. The big question becomes for them is does that lack of depth get them through to the end of hopefully for them a successful season?
If they're in nothing but the league, then Leicester did it. Leicester did it with a far weaker squad in a season where teams were a bit out of form like this year. And so I think for Arsenal, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Losing a game will lose a bit of momentum, but equally, every time they don't have to play, that's possibly an injury saved. It's a bit of a fatigue off a player. It's going to help. And you have to say that teams like Villa in the FA Cup, when they've got absolutely nothing to play for, play a weakened side. So to expect Arsenal when they've got everything on the line not to, perhaps, but Arteta learnt from Pep. Maybe he still thinks he can win a double.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I think Arteta and Arsenal did beat us on their way for them winning their FA Cup. It'll be interesting with the battle that's going to take place because I think both of them are going to realize that there are psychological effects to whoever wins, right? I think what's been fantastic and fantastically pointed out, I think Carl mentioned this earlier, the two of you as well, Richard Martin. But this gap between when we play and when our next match is, there's actually no reason why we shouldn't field the best team that we have. Maybe Pep will do things differently based off maybe tactical decisions, but there's no, I'm going to maybe rotate so-and-so because they're going to be playing 3 or 4 days later. That's not the case. So I want the best available 11 with regards to the tactics that he believes will best affect or get a result against Arsenal. And I want this. I want this because I think you always go with strength and then scale back. You don't go and then rev up, if that makes any sense. So let's start the game strong. I think you guys mentioned after that match it would be the 5th for Spurs, and I think the 12th for Aston Villa. So the only thing is I think there's 3 days between Aston Villa and Arsenal for when we play them in the league. But not even getting that far, this FA, I want the best team possible. Let's get the result, and let's put a little doubt. Let's put a little inception. If you've seen the movie, let's just whisper in their ears on what winning this league and playing and battling against us is going to mean.
Yeah, I'm with you. Carl, good evening, mate. Carl with us?
I'm here. Hello, Martin. Good evening, gentlemen.
What are you thinking? Strong 11? Go for it. Because from what I'm hearing, everyone's thinking we'll go strong and Arsenal might.
I'm thinking even put Edison there, mate. Go hell for leather.
What in midfield?
Seriously?
Midfield? No.
Play the best. And my analogy is this, right? I remember the Champions League final, Chelsea, when we lost 3 times to them. The first loss in the FA Cup affected the second game. The second loss affected the Champions League final. This all adds up. Batter these guys on Friday, all things being equal, you send a message that we're not going away, that we can beat you. We've beaten you for the past 10 years, like 5 times, like 9 times out of 10. We'll beat you. We know how to beat you. Arteta is Pep's boy. We know your tactics. We have better players. That's the message I want to send. You do that. You win against Tottenham. All of a sudden, that 15 becomes pressure, becomes psychology, becomes, I'm not quite sure. I want to go strong, Martin. Very strong. At home.
I like it. Yeah, Carl, what you mentioned reminded me of the New Year's Day game at the Emirates last year, where we got played all over the park, and yet we still were able to put the ball in the back of net at the right times and still get away. It's still, sneak out of London with 3 points. It just shows that we still have a little bit of a big boy mentality over Arsenal, and why they have improved in leaps and bounds.
Exactly.
We still have to go out there and show them that we can still, we are still the big boys.
And last year, Pat, we were tired. Maybe it was like 3 days after they had a whole week's rest or more time. we were tired and still won at the Emirates. You know, I know they've played well. Arsenal have done well, no doubt. They've done well, right? Kudos to them and Arteta. But I want to send a message on Friday. I really want to send a message. Couple of goals, clean sheet if we can. If we can't get a clean sheet, let's have many, many goals and send them off and build confidence.
A lot of people saying that is go as strong as you want, set the marker down. Listen, we all know Arteta's going to do his little antics and play his little run around on the touchline game and get into Pep's head. He's already tried doing it today. You know, this title race won't change our friendship, but I'm going to go for it, blah, 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 blah. So he's already playing games. Pep's come back and talked about Arsenal as favourites. And, like, you know, it's like they're already playing little early mind games with each other.
Pep spent about half an hour playing games after the last game, or half a day. I mean, he played games with Arteta, he played games with his squad, he played games with the fans. You know, Pep's
on one this season.
He's reborn at the moment in some massive. He's on some massive overexcitement, you know, binge at the moment. But yeah, no, I think we go for it. Try and put a marker down. There's absolutely, given there's no game. We've had a week off before and a week off after. There's absolutely no reason that we need to do anything other than try and pick a best 11 and get games into legs and get, you know, that stability.
So is no one? I'm going to throw this out there. By the way, Andy said in the chat, congratulations, John Stones, on the birth of his new baby boy, him and his partner. You know, it just goes strength to strength for old Johnny Boy at the moment. He's turned everything around at City. Always been our best centre-back, ball-playing centre-back, everything. He's just, the guy's on the up, and I love to see it.
I mean, Martin, if I may just on Stones, I mean, Stones is just amazing. Fit John Stones is England's best centre-back. There's no question.
Yeah.
No debate. There's no question.
I don't think there's a better one in the world at the moment.
He is. I mean, the game against Wolves, when he came in and played that double six position next to Rodri, the way he played, flawless. Wolves had no answer to him. He's just a phenomenal player, and he looks good too.
Rolls Royce.
Oh, sorry, I'm in the middle of a conversation with StreamYard chat as well, because they've just decided they're going to email me back at this point. Arsenal have way more legs than us. I mean, people have mentioned Foden, Cancelo, Phillips. Is this the time to have a go? Bring them in. Does anyone think give them a go? Or
no risk. No.
There's a difference between those two as well. Bringing in Foden is less of a risk than bringing in Phillips. Bringing in Phillips is a huge change to the entire team.
Yeah.
Bringing in Foden's not a massive change. So I think they're different risks, man.
Well, apparently Foden hasn't trained today.
Well, then he won't play, because why would you play an unfit player?
No.
And risk injury? I mean, there's no way we'll do that.
What about Phillips? Cancelo?
No,
Is he
no
gonna
Phillips.
have a chance to stop being his little crybaby?
No Phillips. No Phillips. No way. No way. We cannot take a risk, Martin. I mean, imagine if we lost the game. The media circus, no, Martin.
Sorry, I've just put Danny's comment up because Danny doesn't like Calvin Phillips. He shouldn't be carrying the water bottles.
And anything posted by somebody with a 20-year-old photo as their display picture is it's just, you got to take it with a pinch of salt.
Everyone's saying congrats to Newcastle and winning the Carabao Cup because United are going to be playing him in the final. Hang on a minute, I think Southampton might have a little say about that. It's just, throw them out the mix straight away. Is Veta back with us? I don't think he's back with us yet. So nobody here would just do a little tinker. Or just, all right then, no, let's change it. I know we're all saying full strength. It's Pep. Cal knows exactly what I mean by that, and so do all of you. It's Pep. Could Pep just think, screw this? Because here's the thing. For me, I think Arsenal are going to focus completely on the league. I even think they're going to chuck the Europa League down the drain at some point because they're going to have to do to stay in a title race. Who benefits more going out of this FA Cup? City or Arsenal?
The problem, Martin, is that if Arteta's going to gamble with the league, unfortunately for him, you're gambling against a team that's been there before and claw back a better Liverpool team with less points, to more points and less games. So, that's your risk, Mikel. If you think you're going to win the league against this City team when they get in gear with Erling Haaland in the team, finding his form, carry on, mate. Carry on, mate. Because you could end up with nothing this season.
Anyone else?
I think that it's both. I mean, we're going to play more games. We've got the Champions League to worry about. So in a sense, FA Cup games later in the season will be more of a burden to City than they will to Arsenal. But then we've got greater depth. So, arguably that cancels out that. So it really comes down to, I think at the moment, given that unless you get an ACL or something in the game, it's actually a game where our players probably need football more than they need the week off. And I think in many ways it comes down to that, Arsenal v City and what can be done in terms of a mental blow or anything else. And to be honest, Arsenal are on top. So not playing City, they're on top. If Arsenal beat City, arguably, in the FA Cup, arguably, they're still on top anyway. They might get a psychological advantage, but we're the ones who are in second place. We're the ones who want to change things. We're the ones who want to put a change in Arsenal's mentality. So for us, there's more to gain than there is to lose for us, doing something to Arsenal, making a point, putting doubt. There's much more for us to gain than there probably is for Arsenal in this game in many ways. So, I think that's why I think we'll go really strong. And I don't think Arteta will. I think Arteta will play, rest a few players who look tired.
Pat, mate, who benefits going out? No, if anyone does. If you have to choose.
I think going out benefits Arsenal. I think it benefits Arsenal because they're not going to be, quote unquote, battling on so many fronts. They were in, I believe they were in 2 competitions last season. No, they were in 1 competition to end out the season to guarantee top 4, and they fell short of that. They weren't able to manage that with 3 or 4 games left. For them to have to be in many competitions and their pursuit to try and win this league, I don't think serves them well. We're more accustomed to it. Pep's had to manage that often for many seasons now. I don't think it's an advantage to them. So they've got right now FA Cup, Europa, and their pursuit of the league. Them dropping out of this would benefit them tremendously because one of the criticisms, despite them spending money in this January transfer window, is their depth or quality of depth. So, them dropping out would actually help them tremendously.
Yeah, I agree with Vader too. I said, it's just what I wanted to say too. The depth, they don't have the depth to be a every 3-day team, not yet at least. And Arteta, while he's learning a lot from Pep, or he learns a lot and he's still learning a lot from Pep, and we see it from Arsenal's style of play, he's not yet into that caliber of manager that Pep is, where he's not yet a 3-day or a match every 3-day manager. So I think for them, getting knocked out of this competition will benefit them in terms of their title race, or Premier League title race. I'd be interested to see, where they lie in terms of the Europa League, because I think if the gap in the Premier League does increase, they will not take the Europa League as seriously. They will obviously try and put as strong a lineup out as possible and see how deep they can go in that competition. But if I were an Arsenal fan, I'd be looking at saying, I'll take an early exit out of the Europa League if it meant that we won the Premier League and got that first seat
once they've got top four secure, you know, the Europa League financially is, you know, not good at all. You know, I think, you know, I think to them, once they've got top four secured, the lure of the Europa League drops dramatically, because half the teams are only hugely interested in the Europa League because of getting a Champions League place for winning it if they're in doubt in the league. And, you know, a lot of the teams, you know, Arsenal, United, Barcelona, there's a lot of teams who are in the Europa League who are actually doing very well in the league this year, which is not always the case. There's often a few teams in fifth place really going for it. But I don't know. I think even that, therefore, you know, why would you bother? They'll be focusing on that Premier League, putting all their eggs in that basket.
Yeah, no, I'm probably with you, and that's what I'm thinking right now. I think if any team's going to stick out the weakened team, it's going to be Arsenal. I'm expecting Trossard to come in full debut. I'm expecting, because think about it, if they start rolling out Nketiah and then he gets injured in the game, they have definitely got no strikers at that point.
Yep.
Because Gabby's already injured. I know he's on his way back, but they can't just, they haven't got the squad depth we've got. Did he take the risk and throw on a sack? The end of the day is, to me, I've got a feeling, I don't want to say like Colonel Ward said we don't throw. I know you don't, but you do play weakened teams. I'm expecting a strong City team and a weakened Arsenal team, if I'm totally honest.
I see Arsenal playing a similar lineup against us to who, let's say, if they were drawn against maybe like I don't know if Ipswich Town are in the Championship. Let's say a Championship team, maybe even a League One team.
Yeah, I don't think this fixture suits us more than Arsenal, because like Cows, we can literally lay one on them here.
Yep, with an 8-day break.
Yeah, absolutely lay one on. I know people talked about Alvarez in the chat, but to me, I'd just go full strength. I think everyone stays the same on the bench. 8-day break, go out, pound them, send a message. Because I tell you what we need to do now, this is our chance to turn around all this excitement and momentum out of Arsenal fans and the team, turn it all around and hang on a minute, this title race ain't over now.
Sorry, go ahead.
My argument is, again, I go back to lessons of the past with Chelsea and the Champions League, right? The FA Cup, right? That FA Cup loss and affected the league game, which affected the Champions League game for Chelsea. I'm telling you, they all snowballed into the same mess at the end of the day. Because this was just, you know, Pep thought about this, tried this, Aguero's Panenka that didn't work out, and then there were counter-attack, and there was a goal. It just all snowballed. It gave the fans confidence, it gave the club confidence. They knew that just batter Arsenal on Friday. Just try to batter them. Even if it's a 2-1 win or 3-1 win, I'm okay with that. Just go and try to win. Because if you don't, I guarantee you the media is going to have a field day. They will have a field day. And you won't hear the last of it until the 15th.
Yeah. I think the gap, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but Arsenal have a similar gap to when they have to play their next league match, right? So we've got 8 games, they got 7. So
yeah.
Don't they play Villa on like the 18th or something?
Yeah, but that's in 3 weeks.
Yeah,
that's the league. Right, that's the league match. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
Arsenal got 6 weeks of hell, April, May time.
Yeah. So that, I mean, but here's the Arsenal, and again, I'm Arsenal fans. If you're watching this, I know you have a great history. I know you've won leagues before. I'm talking recency. This squad, this manager, this group of players, you haven't been doing it like this for a while. So I see a little naivete with them. I think they would go full strength. I think for the same sake of, I don't want the media talking poorly about us. I don't want to give an edge to Pep and City. I think they're probably going to go with a full strength team, given that they've got such a break between when they play next. They're not going to think about the possible injury. I think the naivety with that is we're going to go toe to toe, and we're going to see each other again in the league. So there's going to be what matters at the FA Cup, and there's going to be what matters with regards to league play.
That's what I was saying to Pat before everyone joined. But just sort of said, this is very weird. 4th round of the FA Cup, and you're playing a top Premier League team you've not actually played yet, and we're about to hit February.
Yeah.
This is a very weird situation. Nobody knows. You know, you've got a chance to lay a glove. Some people in the comments thinking, nah, Pep, screw it. Get rid of the FA Cup. We'll go out of it now quite happily. Which I get, because some down the road we have done this. Get to the quarters, get to the semi, and then we stick out the weakened team. And I think
we've always got a Champions League. Yeah, but we've always got a Champions League semi 3 days later. That's
what I mean. So is it better to go out now? And not do it in 2 months' time where we're going to throw out?
No, let's do it in 2 months' time.
I mean, people only looking at it from the past.
There's
we've done this.
There's a very important reason. Those bastards knocked out Oxford United, and they need to be punished. They need to be punished.
Why when you say Oxford, why do your dogs bark when you say Oxford?
I think it's an attack command. I think it's an attack command for his dogs, honestly.
They don't like
Alvarez behind Haaland.
They don't like Premier League football. They think Premier League football is not real football. It's ruined the game. It's all about money, no connection with the fans, especially dog fans. Whereas at Oxford, you get a free bone when you go to the game. There's not a lot you can say to that.
No, I mean, I'm trying to keep up. There's loads of comments coming in. I'm trying to keep up with comments as well because there's loads on. Big thank you to everyone for coming in tonight. Daniel's put playing Alvarez behind Ireland is strong. It's who you drop out of midfield for that.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
That's going to be a show in itself, deciding what the 11 is going to be.
This is. I mean, we'll get. I don't want to touch into the early bit podcast later on. Rich will get going. I'll get Rich flying in a bit. I just, that's a whole different stream going down the Alvarez conundrum at the moment because of, it's a real conundrum. I mean, Colonel Ward is
Martin, the lesson we learned from last game is
oh, you're just breaking up there.
This new system.
I think you're in a bad spot right now, Carl.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's clear.
Now, mate.
Okay. Yeah, the lesson that we learned from the game that Alvarez plays is that one midfielder has to drop out. In that case, it was Kevin.
Yeah.
Because in this new 3-2-2-3 system that we play, Alvarez played as one of the 210s up front next to Haaland with Gundogan, right? And then you had Grealish and Mahrez out wide. Again, that box that he tries to create to manage the counter attack through the middle and have the security of the three. It's basically a 5-and-5, right? 3-2-2-3. That's what we play. So you're right. It's a question. You know, if Alvarez plays with Haaland, who drops from the midfield? Because somebody has to. Because Mahrez is in form. Jack is doing exceptional. We have our Jack back. You know, what does he do?
I mean, on this point, I think Arteta will want momentum to their season. So he'll go for a strong scalp and put down a match. This team lineup is going to be very intriguing. I think you're going to have some that are going to think, screw the FA Cup, stick out a weakened team, play whatever. Or not a weakened team, but a rotated team. And we'll see what happens. Arsenal may... It's all if buts and maybes at the minute. But for me personally, I just want to lay down. I want to make them hurt. On Friday night, I want to make them realise that we're up against someone here. We're up against a juggernaut that ain't going away. And I want to put that little bit, I want to put that seed of doubt into their heads. Because nobody's done it yet. I want to stick that seed of doubt of, hang on a minute, they may come back. Mm-hmm. That's all it is for me. I'd love the FA Cup. Told everyone it's my favourite cup competition because I don't think we've ever won it enough in the recent years. I love it. But like others have said, do you think Pep's got his eyes on only 2 trophies this year? The 2 main ones. So, I don't know.
Tough one.
Such... I mean, 2 weeks ago, we were talking about a crisis and we're all in meltdown. Pep was going out. People were doing polls on Pep out. And now we're sat here going, hey, let's chuck the FA Cup to get the Champions League and Premier. You know what I mean? It's...
Well, you know what? The way Pep has lit that fire under the fan base to cheer on the squad, he would do a disservice not playing a strong team for the FA Cup.
Yeah, I think we should, being old school, growing up in the 70s, 80s, 90s, the FA Cup, back then, the FA Cup was the biggest thing in football. The FA Cup was far bigger than the European Cup. I barely remember being that too aware of European football, but FA Cup Day in Britain, back 30, 40 years ago, the whole country was interested. You had about 6 hours build up on TV. Everyone watched it, whether it was your team or not. Everyone watched it. And for me, the FA Cup, when I really look back, the FA Cup still has that. It was the magic of the FA Cup. It was watching. You'd watch Wrexham Arsenal on telly. You'd watch teams that you'd never normally see. You'd have Stevenage and Wrexham and Cardiff and teams putting in fantastic upsets, and it was pretty magic. And a lot of the players would talk about things like when we won the FA Cup in 69. It was as big a moment to the City players and the fans as winning the league. Bert Troutman's FA Cup, one of the biggest moments in our history, and certainly a far more high profile moment than when we won the Cup Winners' Cup. So the FA Cup, I think, deserves a lot more respect, and I'd like to see us win a few more, because I think the one thing, we can say we haven't, won the Champions League, and that's an underachievement. But for me, the one underachievement of the City side since 2008 is that we haven't won more FA Cups. Compared to the League Cup and compared to the league, we've been a shocker in the FA Cup. What is it? Watford and Stoke. Have I missed one? But it's just, and we lost to Wigan and stuff, but it just hasn't been something treated as with the respect by City it should be. And I'd like to see us there singing Abide With Me, heading for the double, maybe a treble, and winning that FA Cup, because it's a special day. And it's arguably, if you go back 100 years, it's arguably was at one point the biggest thing in world football. And with an amazing history. And the FA Cup, it's still, to me, being an old fart, is a bit magic.
Yeah, and that's what it is for me. I want an FA Cup final is special. That Stoke game, that Watford game, it was special. The Stoke game more than the Watford game, because that was done by half time. That did upset me a little bit, because I don't. It was great. You knew by half time we'd won the FA Cup, and I get that. And it was Watford, and it was great. But to me, Wembley when it's packed, and like Rich said, come about him, he's singing about him, he's out there. It's great, and it's the whole day thing. But I don't know. I am torn on this one. But Super City's got a point, and it's just 12-5 here. Start with you, Pat, on this. What happens if they obliterate us? Where does our confidence go? Because then we're back to, we're in crisis, Pep out, let's do a poll.
I wasn't thinking about that hypothetical, to be honest.
I know, that's what I mean. We're all saying, we'll smash them, but why did they do it to us? Where does that leave us?
Fair play to them.
I was just off mute there for a second because I wanted to get an idea of like what our sort of fixtures would be if we were to progress in the FA Cup. And I've just quickly written down some notes here. Now, if we make it through to the 5th round of the FA Cup, that is being played on the week of the 1st of March. That FA Cup round will be a midweek competition. Yeah. Leading up to that, we play Leipzig away and Bournemouth away. After that, That weekend we play Newcastle at home and then Palace away midweek. So there's some interesting fixtures there. Fixtures that we can definitely get results from, but fixtures that in FA Cup may start being a bit of a factor depending on who we play in the next round if we go through. Quarterfinals, if anything, the quarterfinals may actually be a little bit easier than what potentially the fifth round could be, because we play Leipzig at home, and then we play Leipzig at home, and then we play the quarterfinal. That's the weekend of the 18th of March, and then we play West Ham at home. That game will be rescheduled because it is roughly around the same weekend as that round of the FA Cup. There is a bit of a gap, so we're not necessarily too heavily affected by Champions League quarterfinals. However, April becomes interesting for us. Now, Martin, you alluded on the last show that Arsenal in April into May, they have a devilish sort of run of fixtures in that too. There is a possibility that we could have a devilish run of fixtures as well too, because you've got the Champions League quarterfinals happening on the 11th and 12th. Again, getting ahead of myself because I still think Leipzig can be a bit of a threat, which we'll talk about in later shows. We play the Champions League quarterfinals on the 11th and 12th of April, with the second legs on the 18th and 19th of April. The FA Cup semi-final is on the weekend of the 22nd of April.
But it's after. That's good because that makes it a much easier.
Yeah.
Oh, because
last couple of seasons, it feels like they were in between. So this season may actually benefit us a little bit.
Yeah.
Do something just to muddle around people's heads there.
Yeah.
You've heard of the famous five. We've got the grumpy five now.
Grumpy five.
It's not famous five, it's grumpy five.
Andrew, you talking about us?
No, I think he's talking about the five grumpy players at the moment.
But they should be grumpy.
What the hell, Rich? Go on, tell us.
They absolutely should be grumpy. There's players in England and Portugal who've had a shit World Cup, who've really disappointed, despite the fact we try to kind of pretend England had a good World Cup, getting knocked out by France. England, just for their, the 15th time in like 15 World Cups, lost as soon as they played someone good. Portugal were a shocker. They had a toxic camp and had a mayor. And so they should have come back from that World Cup pissed off. And they've then played badly and Pep's kicked them out the side, as he should. So they should be pissed off. I think the fact is how long they're blaming the rest of the world for their woes, and, thinking, it's Southgate's fault, or it's, Ronaldo's fault, or it's Pep's not seeing me. How long they do that until they think, actually, I need to back my ideas up, start playing and focus on doing what I can do because I determine how good I am, and so I hope some of them starting to get grumpy with themselves. And it's quite clear that, Phillips got absolutely savaged by Pep, but at least it seems clear that he put his head down and he's, tried to address that. But some of the others, they need to just grow up and accept part of the reason they didn't win the World Cup was because maybe they didn't play well enough. And part of the reason they're not in the City side is because they're not on their game. And the only person who can change that is them. And, otherwise they get into the funk that Raheem Sterling got in over the last year, which is like trying to blame everyone else when he wasn't in the side because he wasn't playing his best. And if they do that, then they go. And
yeah, I said this is what I said on Beta's show earlier, didn't it, Beta and Carl? If they've got two roads they can take, A or B, fight or don't bother. If you want to give up, you want to go to Sterling path, or you want to go the Gabby path and give up and want to leave, fine. You go with the blessings. Good luck. Yeah. No harm, no foul.
Yeah.
But
and I think it's unfair to call it the Grand Five. Yeah.
Pep's, how many times has Pep alluded to this? Come on, lads. I want to see the passion. I want to see that fight, that determination. Pep can't make them do that. If they want to do that, that's their choice. But at the end of the day, they have to then deal with the consequences of their career at City will be over. And good luck to wherever they move next.
He can put the words in their head. It's up to them to turn those words into action.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think calling it a grumpy five is probably unfair because I think to me,
I didn't call it grumpy five, by the way.
No, there's someone in the thread debate. To me, Cancelo and Foden are being a bit grumpy are, they're in their prime. They are, if they're not playing their best and they're not injured, then, attitude, form, confidence, lifestyle, whatever it is playing a part. So I think I think maybe it's a grumpy too. I don't know that we can criticize Gundogan's effort or anything. He's one of the 5 who's supposed to be leaving, but I think he's, at Southampton, I thought him and Laporte were the only ones who really looked like they were trying. So I think, Laporte is always grumpy. That's what I love about him. He's grumpy even after we just won the league. That's his personality. I don't think Gundogan is doing anything other than trying his best. And Walker, I just don't know about. Walker is a bit more complex. He's had a lot of injuries. He's getting older. His form's quite varied, but I'm not sure if that's mental thing or whether that's just an aging thing, especially when he's such an athlete. So yeah, I think we should probably say there's 5 players rumored to be going, but I think there's or grumpy, one of them won't be going, but I suspect it's different reasons for each player. But they just need to suck it up, grow up, and start playing well and get in the team. And Pep just needs to play the best 11. And if Rico Lewis is playing better than Walker, Rico Lewis plays.
Okay. Right. We've been going for nearly an hour now. Now, obviously, we can go through 11s. Has anything got anything they want to add before we move into potential? Because we don't do score predictions. I just do. Do we win? Do we lose? I never do. We don't do score predictions because I always make myself sound stupid when I start doing that. Can't predict bloody scores. Does anyone want to throw anything in on Friday night? Because I've only got one thing, by the way. Quite simpler. But go on, Vader. I'll do mine. I think mate, you were about to speak.
I was going to say, guessing the 11 is nearly impossible. We can probably say what we think our best 11 is, and we saw how Pep started. Oh, we saw the starting 11 versus Spurs. That was a dropped KDB. But then we saw the squad we had versus Wolves, and I don't think any of us had an issue with that 11. So whoever Pep picks, say that fast, I'm cool with. I do expect an entertaining win is as far as I'll go on a Wednesday when we play on a Friday. I expect an entertaining win because I think the styles of both clubs will warrant it. It's not going to be a boring snooze fest like a Liverpool-Chelsea. I think it's going to be 2 teams, maybe something. I think it's going to be more entertaining than what we expected from United as well, because United, obviously, they're going to kind of wait and counter. That was their approach. It'd be interesting to see Arteta and Arsenal's approach. I think it's going to be an open flow. I see us winning. I know we're probably going to talk again, whether it's in our group chats or whatever, it being Wednesday, the match is on Friday. But that's as far as I'm going to go. I don't know what more to say. I'm glad everyone's healthy, first and foremost. And I don't expect to really see Foden or Cancelo in the mix just based off of what we've seen recently. So I don't know what else to add, man. I'm just strong 11 and a win. Oh, crap. Sorry.
Here's a question. I put it in the chat, but I might as well throw it out here. Does anyone think with our slower pace,
that was such a good moment, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. See, no, the reason why I said crap on my end is because I just got a Microsoft system update, and it's kind of.
Yeah. I'm back in the room.
Yeah. Patrick, did you take a picture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm back in the room.
There you go.
You're back.
You were saying that you didn't have much pace.
I am going to kill Virgin Media at some point. Virgin Media is doing me dirty at the minute. I'm sorry. Hashtag Virgin Media, sort it out, please. Just lost 10 watches because of that. Thanks, Virgin.
That's our thumbnail for the next show.
Listen, I'll be straight. Quick question. I don't know if Carl's here. He might be able to answer this. Standpoint. Arsenal play full strength, and we know it's Martinelli, Saka, bing, bang, boom, go, go, go. And at the moment, we're very slow, methodical, control-based. That could be an interesting watch, shall we say? Because I'm just thinking, because Saka and Martinelli do worry me. I won't lie. They worry me with the pace and their lethalness. And I saw something in Arsenal this season that I haven't. Maybe I'm playing too much into it, but that United game, to get that 93rd, 94th minute winner, can boost you, can give you that confidence. Go.
Two things.
You can say the same thing about this game too.
Yeah, the first thing is, the United game, anybody watching that game, I was calling out for Ten Hag to make two changes. Take out Eriksen, take out Weghorst. Quick. Now. 75 minutes. Take them out. They're tired. They can't run. Bring on, somebody else. Either midfield and bring off somebody. Move Rashford central and bring on Garnacho. He didn't. I kept saying 80 minutes. Take him out. Take them out. He didn't. And there you are. Now, listen. Regarding the speed of Martinelli and Saka, yes, they are quick. But what good is speed if you can't have the ball? We just have to finish our dinner. We just have to take our chances. If they score one, we have to score three. It's just, and if United can score goals against them, if other teams can score against, Liverpool can score two against them, why can't we?
I'm just thinking
Carl, no point worrying about their tempo if we can control it.
Say we play that slow midfield that me and Rich love so much.
Which is why I say we figure out a way to play Alvarez to press. If Kevin plays, then it's Kevin and Alvarez. If Gundo plays, then it's Alvarez and Gundo. But you can't. You have to figure out how to put Alvarez, because Alvarez increases the press and the pressure and the running and the pressing and all those things. It's what he does best. Yeah.
No, I am. I'm really intrigued with this. I'm actually excited to see the matchup and the formations and how they're gonna. Listen, we're not silly. Arteta's learned his craft under Pep. We're not silly. We know that. And simple thing is, I've got an Arsenal fan at work, and you know what? I said to him today, I said, "Are you confident about Friday?" And he went, "No." And it shocked me. I was like, "What do you mean, no?" And he was like, "No, I'm not confident." And he literally comes to work and all his Arsenal clubber. Proper gunner and everything. And he's like,
I think every Arsenal fan Martin I've spoken to has been pretty realistic. You even talk to Arsenal fans now and they'll still say City are favourites, even though, I think we've got so used to Liverpool fans in league title battles who basically, most Liverpool fans, they won the league in the Charity Shield most seasons. If they win the Charity Shield, the league's already won. I mean, we started this season, Núñez was going to be getting 50 goals, Haaland was a waste of money, Liverpool pretty much had the title in the back. Paddy Power already making jokes or really paying out Liverpool for the title after a Charity Shield win. So we're used to those fans. That no team of supporters has ever celebrated more titles that they didn't win in history. They Christmas champions. That's Liverpool. And now we're playing against Arsenal, and they've got, from top to bottom in the club, the opposite mentality. Arteta is still treating them as the underdogs. Their fans are still treating them as the underdogs. And that is getting their support huge, because honestly, we know as City fans, when we were the underdogs, you are more passionate, you are louder, you are, in some ways a better supporter when you go in as an underdog than when you go in as an overdog, when complacency and all those glory fans, all those things come in. So Arsenal have got that kind of mentality, and I think Arteta is, really trying to hold on to that. And I think that's why Pep has been so big about Arsenal are massive favourites. We can't catch Arsenal. They're way too good for us. They're so hungry. Pep is trying to do everything to try and make Arsenal favourites in the media, to get the people asking questions at press conferences about is the league in the bag to Arteta. Change that mentality. So I think the Arsenal fans are playing a blinder. I think they have remained...
Colonel Ward disagrees with you, Rich. He's proper like our defence collectively is arguably better than City's. I'm not sure on that.
Well, arguably maybe. I think they'll be playing 2 or 3 different players in that defence when they play us in the
no. The thing is,
game. If it was a league game, it would be a totally different conversation than if it's an FA Cup game.
Yeah. No, my only thing on Colonel Ward is I think City have arguably the better collective defenders. Personally, I don't think they've got anyone the quality of John Stones. Don't think they've got a Laporte. Nathan Ake at the minute is probably the most under what's the word?
Underappreciated.
Underappreciated centre back, full back, whatever you want to call him in the Premier League at the moment. I think he's been quietly outstanding this season. I'm not saying Arsenal got some amazing defenders, but I just disagree slightly on that, Colonel. I think City collectively have a better defence. City's problem this season is to change the defence.
I think, Martin, you probably need
too many changes
in 2 slots. City's centre backs are incredibly strong. There's no team in world football who has a better, stronger set of centre backs. Of all different types. Fast, slow, passing. Left-footed, right-footed. We've got exceptional central defenders, but we have to say we've been a bit lacking in our fullbacks this year. So our best fullback this season has been Ake, centre back, and Rico Lewis, a kid just straight out the academy. So I think you've got differences, haven't you? You've got.
I think what makes our defensive squad depth so good is that us collectively as a 5 and all the Blues in the chat, pretty much everybody would have their first choice centre back to their 5th choice centre back would all be different. Everybody would have a completely different opinion of who they think is number 1 to number 5.
Yeah, we are going to stop 1 minute. I just want to give Vader's got to drop now. Vader, plug away, mate. Plug away. Go.
Oh, guys. When your channel grows, my channel grows because I love the feedback that I'm getting in the comments. I just sharing my point of view. I've got a channel myself, so if you're able to tune in, subscribe or like when you see the notification. It's Vader Games TV, and I do a show weekly. Why Always Me? I did one today, so catch it after you watch this one. And thanks always for having me on the show, Rich, Patrick, Carl, Martin. Thanks for having me, guys. And I'm gonna catch you after this FA Cup or preview spaces after the game. I'm there, man.
Yeah, Vader, one very quick question for you before you go, because it's one thing I was going to ask the others. Champions League final tomorrow. Everyone fit in our squad. Who would you play as the 2 centre backs?
It's not the early Burt, Rich.
Laporte and Stones.
There we go.
Laporte and Stones.
Laporte and Stones.
No,
everybody healthy. Laporte and Stones.
You've proved my theory wrong now, because I was going to say all 5 of us would say different, but I'd say Laporte and Stones as well. So you've proved my theory wrong.
I would say Laporte and Stones, but I do feel I do want to see Diaz as well.
No, yeah.
Would you go back 3 with Diaz in the middle
line?
of
100%.
Can't we play a back 3?
That's what we're going to do, Martin.
A back 3 with Diaz in between both Stones and Laporte.
And Diaz.
Well, you play a back 3. You play a back 3 with Rico Lewis, and then it's a back 4, but Rico Lewis is in midfield.
Rich has got me quoting Scarface. Every time I try to get out, they keep pulling me back in. Oh, no, that's Godfather. My bad. Godfather. I'm going to catch you guys. I'm going to be in the comments. Love.
Yeah, we're wrapping up in a minute anyway. Right, we'll go around the thing. Pat, our City going through on Friday night?
Yes, they are going through. Not comfortably, but we'll put in a solid performance and come away with a good win.
Carl, are we going through, mate?
I sure hope so, mate. I want a good weekend.
Richard? Go on, Carl.
I hope so, because I have to Saturday morning. I'm off to where I have to go Saturday morning with those kids, man. So I have to put a big face up. I hope we win.
Exactly. Rich?
Yeah, I think we're going to play a far stronger team than Arsenal, and we'll win. But it will leave a few questions because I don't think we're going to beat Arsenal's best 11. And then Pep's going to do Alex Ferguson and chuck Saka in his boot.
For 20 quid?
Yeah.
So according to you, you just buying everyone for like tuppence an eight now.
No, I didn't say 20 quid. I said about 100 and something million.
Hang on.
Anyway.
You said the other day, let's get Jadon Sancho at United. We'll get him for 20 million.
Yeah,
like
deal
left.
If you can't see that, yeah, but the difference between Sancho's deal and Saka's deal is Saka is on top form, is a fantastic player. Sancho's an anchor at United at the minute. He's a cost. He's not playing. He's not doing anything. He's just costing them, about 40 million a year in, wages and
just testing something now. Our City sold out for Friday night. Someone's asked me. Yes, there is no tickets available anywhere. It says seats available, but you can't click on out.
And I read Arsenal are bringing up about 7,800 fans or something, and they're all going to be.
And by the way, can I just say, and I mean this in all sincerity, any Arsenal fans, if you are making that journey on Friday night, all power to you. To come up from North London on a Friday to Manchester, power to you on that. I'll give you credit here. But I do hope you all go on crying. Right. Anyway, Carl, where can they find you, mate?
Yep. Find me on YouTube at Pitch Points. And then if you want to stir up controversy, you find me on Twitter at Gondalorian. It's my alter ego.
You don't always get the real Carl on Twitter, by the way. I know Carl likes to wind up sometimes. Don't always believe what Carl writes on Twitter. Sometimes he doesn't just wind up. I'm sure he does. When you actually get to know him and speak to him, he's nothing like his Twitter ego. I don't know why he does it. He likes to wind up. I'm sure he does.
I have to get the bad part of me out on Twitter. That's what I have to do. If not, stuck at home. My wife doesn't like that.
Honestly, if Carl was telling me it was raining outside on Twitter, I'd go and check out the window. That's what he's like. If it was in person with him or on air, I believe it. It's like alter egos. He does it in WhatsApp. Trust me. WhatsApp.
I'm a Gemini. It's the evil twin.
Yeah, where you might think we're not sold out is they might have tickets on the exchange site. Thank you, Carl. Pat, where can they find you, mate?
You can find me on MCFC Sydney on Facebook or MCFC.Sydney Blues on Instagram. Early Bird Podcast on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and the podcast is also on Facebook, the Early Birds Podcast, BERT. And as we alluded to before, as soon as this is wrapped up, we're going to start setting up for our next episode, which for majority of people in the chat will be probably when you'll probably be there ready for you for breakfast time in the morning. But looking forward to getting Martin on and chewing a bit more fat in regards of all things City.
Rich, where can they find you, mate? This is where you promote.
Yeah.
No,
this is
promote
you can find me. You can find me here. No. Although, where you're going to find me the rest of the day is, but it's going to be 33 degrees today. There's a mate's house, a party, and a swimming pool beckoning, and a few cold ales. So, after I've had a bit of a rant at Patrick on Early Berts for,
I'm coming for you. For that. Oh, you have no idea what's coming in about 5-10 minutes. I'm coming for you.
So if anyone wants to hear Martin get schooled, you know where to go.
Oh, here we go.
It's a holiday. The sun is shining. Yeah,
and
sun's shining off my forehead actually, so I need to get my stage.
Says the Englishman celebrating Australia Day,
which is the arrival of it's the invasion of the British celebration day. So
Martin, Rich said to me one day, he said in the Bible it stated that it did rain for 40 days and 40 nights. In Wales, that's still the best summer that Rich remembers.
Well, I did say to you, I said to you earlier, Rich was at the very first FA Cup final. Was it 157 years ago? Rich was there.
Bloody oath. Great game.
Good spot, mate.
Is that the one?
Enjoy.
Yeah. Bury one.
Anyone who's in Australia,
you
are all superb to listen to our waffle. America, wherever you are in the world, Canada, thank you. Me and Rich and Ozzy said it the other day. We've hit over that 1,000 and we're still growing. We're getting more subscribers as we're going. And I can't thank you enough. I have tried to sort out this thing. I've got to try another method now to sort out the intro video. If not, we might just have to can it off and wait till next year or something. I don't know. We'll have to work something out, but we'll sort something. But thank you all to everyone who's been in the chat. You are all superstars. We will be back now Friday night. It will be late. I will pre-warn everyone right now. You are looking about 11:15 before we even get on, because I've got to get out the Etihad, get out the car park, get home, set up, and then we'll go. So
settle the score with that 7-year-old in the row behind you.
There's no 7-year-old in the row behind me.
Sorry, 12-year-old.
Yeah.
My boss is watching now. You just got me to sack. Anyway, thank you. Have a lovely evening. We'll see you Friday night. Hopefully, Manchester City will be in the 5th round and will have absolutely given Arsenal a bloody nose going in to the next 4 months, where Arsenal are going to get a title fight like they've never had before. And early birds and Vata's show we were on earlier, all of them, pitch points, go and show all the love. True City fan. Amazing. Loads of amazing City channels out there. Take care, all. Thank you. Good night. And be good, every single one of you. Let me know, by the way, if the outro plays, because I want to know if the outro plays. Thank you.